I do want to go back to a comment you made earlier, and I said to myself, I'm going to ask you about it. Then we got carried away. You said the FBI, someone from the FBI called you, and you're on a list of 50 names. Can you tell me more about that list and what action have you taken? Because I wouldn't have expected you. Like I thought about people that we targeted. I'm not worried about myself because I always try to be in the middle. I'm more geopolitical rather than focus on US domestic politics. You do both, a lot more US as well, but you tend to be more moderate. I know you tend to be, you praise Trump a lot and you praise a lot of his policies, but you do it in a very pragmatic way and you're critical of some things as well. Why do you think you're on a list and what actions have you taken?
Right. So good question. And by the way, I agree with you. I don't know why I'm on the list. When they called me, I got off the phone and I went about my business because I don't see myself as somebody that is coming from a place of trying to divide and conquer and, say things to get people emotional. But I will entertain having Tommy Robinson on. I will entertain having Anthony Weiner on. I will entertain having Andrew Tate on. I will entertain having a lot of people on the podcast. I had Netanyahu on. Go see my death threats that I got after the Netanyahu interview. Just let me send you the screenshots and the emails and see what it looks like. So to me, it's not necessarily about how fair you and I are. There's the element today of guilty by association. I'm going to talk to everybody and anybody. It doesn't matter if I'm talking to Kim Jong-un. I'll go to North Korea to interview him. No one's off my list. Nobody is. Except if you're using certain words to incite violence, I'm going to step back a little bit and entertain whether I'm going to have you on. There's been only 7 interviews that I've never gone live with. 7 people I interviewed that we had the footage we never went live with. But for the most part, we'll go live with people.
Have you shared who those are?
No, I've never shared who those 7 people are, but it's 7 interviews that I've done who I've never released to the public. And we have it till today. It's 7 names that we never went live with. And those were the interviews that they said certain things that I said, you know what? I'm just not comfortable with this. We're not going to go live with this. And we just never went live with it. But going back to this, so when I got this call, here's what the market looks like right now. So it's very easy today to use CGI and make, you say something about Israel, Qatar is funding you. You say something about Qatar, Julius, can you tell the guys in the back? I can hear all of them. You say something about Qatar, oh, you're getting funded by Israel. No, Qatar's giving you money. No, you're owned by Mossad. No, you are Intel. No, you're CIA. And today, it's so easy to say those comments and then, I agree. Oh my God, maybe he's right. Maybe he is. And then boom, the rest is history, right? You just have to be careful. And to me, when you're asking about security, it comes down to 3 things. We had an emergency meeting last week, right after when Charlie Kirk got assassinated, that night till midnight in my house in Orlando. And we said 3 things we got to address: home, office, going on the road. So here we have, we're going to put a few $1 million into increasing security in all aspects of our lives. And that's just things that I've been in the insurance business for the last 25 years. We've sold 750,000 life insurance policies. It's not that you're going to be buying life insurance because you're dying tomorrow, but when it does happen, you're protected. We're just playing defense to make sure that part is scored away, but nothing is changing. I'm not changing the podcast. I'm not changing talking about what I believe in. I'm not changing interviewing and saying the stuff that I believe in. You can't move on with fear because when you do that, the enemy is winning. The enemy wants you to be scared. Half the time, the enemy just wants to, scare the hell out of you and shake you up where you're like, trying to walk on eggshells. I've never met a leader amongst leaders that walked on eggshells. I have met leaders amongst leaders who are careful with the words they choose to use. I think that we have to improve on. Walking on eggshells and leadership doesn't go together.
It worries me that you started this by saying, like, you entertain interviewing people like Tommy Robinson, like Andrew Tate. You interviewed Netanyahu. I've had Tommy and Tate last week, and I have Huckabee, not Netanyahu, I think tomorrow. So when you say this, I'm like, holy shit. All right. Maybe I should consider it. I'm not on the list yet. But what's ironic is I haven't talked about it. It's like literally on the day that the shooting happened, and I haven't mentioned it because it's not about me. But now it's been a few days. Me and the team were talking about, because I've done a lot of coverage with Pakistan, so I've received some threats from that country. I'll probably bleep it in the recording, but from that country I've received some threats. So we're talking about, hey, is Dubai really that secure? Should I really go do that interview in Eastern Europe? And then later I see that video of Charlie Kirk, and it's just a shock. It's a shock that what me and you do. You go home to your family, you come home, you come to the office, give your opinion, talk about topics that people like me want to hear, and then find out that someone else is doing the same thing like Charlie just got shot in the neck and died in front of his family, it does shake you. So it is a day that is hard to forget. Now, when things like this happen, a lot of emotions are flowing, and you do get always you get these theories, and you address theories again, very direct way. And one theory you address is Israel. People love to blame Israel for everything. Now, I'm very critical of Israel, what's happening in Gaza, less so Lebanon, Iran, and Yemen. But what's happening in Gaza, I'm very, very critical. But then I don't go around and blame Israel for every single thing that happens. You've addressed that on your show. You kind of looked into it, and people referenced a clip from your podcast with Charlie Kirk when you were interviewing Charlie Kirk. Can you tell us about that clip, what the theory is, and what your thoughts are on it?
Right. So that was a day after October 7th event. I think Charlie was on our podcast. It was the first podcast he did out of all the podcasts. So his reaction was the raw reaction that was written about all over the place, and he probably got a lot of pushback. But if you watch the whole thing, he does go and say, I'm not saying they intentionally did this, but I am saying I have some questions. Again, he knows what words to use, where somebody else a little bit more emotional would have said, I know they were behind it, they did it. Charlie's more reasoned, moderate when he's given his thing. So I think the part that's going back and forth right now on social is the meeting that took place with Bill Ackman and the influencers that came with Charlie with a total of 100 million followers, and maybe finding a way to address some questions about Israel, Judaism, Mossad that maybe haven't been answered. And that led to Charlie was getting close to, he didn't want to go back to Israel. Israel invited him. Maybe AIPAC invited him. He said no to it. And then eventually that one number that's being thrown around right now, that Bibi even offered $150 million to maybe have Charlie give more pro-Israel messages around the world. And do I believe something like that could have happened? Do I believe a $150 million offer was made? I think I'm 50-50 there. I think that offer could have been made because, quite frankly,
you got an offer from China a few years ago, no?
Oh, of course we did. Yeah, I got an offer from China. I got on a Zoom with them. I said, wait a minute. What do you want me to do? Yeah, we want you to come to an event, and we'll pay you $600,000, of which, by the way, this whole thing is documented that we have. So there is no,
No, you've talked about it. You've talked about it on your podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah. So these types of things happen. Because they said Turning Point USA was getting $150 million, so Israel wanted to give them another $150 million to give pro-Israel messages. So to me, let's go through all of them. Let's actually dissect those together. Let's say Bill Ackman had a meeting. He's a $10 billion guy, heavy guy, strong guy. And guy goes from being a liberal to conservative to supporting Trump. And during a time like the last election where he probably wasn't a guy that was going to support him, but he saw how the president of Harvard got fired because of him, and he's got major influence. So Ackman's been going like this, and he's becoming a power player, probably not somebody the left likes too much right now. But he gives me the vibes of a reasonable player. He doesn't give me the vibes of a emotional player. If you want to learn more about Ackman, go watch the video of him and Carl Icahn on that one call. If you've never seen it, it's made for TV. Just go watch it. Carl Icahn is calling him out nonstop, and Ackman is staying here. He's not getting emotional. He's taking it from a legend. Icahn is a GOAT in his space. Icahn is calling him out because the whole Herbalife thing that they're going back and forth with. And Bill Ackman is just like, well, here's this. Okay, and anyways, that was an L for him. But he took it in the chin, so you got to give him respect. So do I think Ackman, brought these people in to try to sell them on Israel? Yes. Do I think Netanyahu tried to get Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA to be more pro-Israel? Yes. The most hated man in the world right now, you saw the score. I think Musk was 1, Bibi was 2, or some number like that. I think Musk was 1, Bibi was 2. But, why is Bibi hated? Why is the market kind of split on him? And not split in 50-50. It's a higher on the dislike and lack of trust on some of the things that he's doing. Why? What happened? What did he do? How much of the onus is on him? And don't countries and leaders have to find a way to increase their likeliness? They're being liked in the world. And so he's trying to go to somebody that's got a big mouthpiece, Charlie Kirk, who makes content go viral. Hey, let us come and support you. By the way, in the last 12 months, names have been added for people that took money from Russia. You saw that one right there where people getting paid $100,000, $200,000. You got a couple guys that took money from another organization that is from the leftist organization where Pac-Man and a couple other guys were on the list, where Pac-Man actually addressed it up front and talked about it. But people that were paying folks on the left to, encourage the ideas that they have, this is not a new thing. Qatar's paying money. A lot of people are paying money. So yes, America went around for decades selling America to people. Reagan went to Gorbachev and told him, Gorbachev, here's what you got to do to make Russia better. We're selling American exceptionalism for a long time. And Israel's trying to do the same thing. I think the $150 million makes me a little bit uncomfortable that you're doing that. And the fact that Charlie didn't take the money is kudos to him. I don't know the whole story, but the fact that he didn't take it, good for him. It's funny because the last 6 months, if you look at a lot of the stuff people were saying about Charlie is a Zionist, he is bot, he is this, he's that. And we had to lose Charlie to learn about the fact that he wasn't bot. And it's unfortunate because sometimes you had Charlie who was alive, who to me would have been a very formidable voice for the next 50, 60 years. And you had to lose him to now believe him? What happened? How come you didn't believe him a month ago? How come you didn't believe him 6 months ago? Why not just look at somebody and say, this guy seems like reasonable. I think he's being honest. I think he's an honest player. So it's unfortunate that we have to get to a situation like this. So again, just to kind of bring that up to you, is I think Ackman is being fair. He's trying to sell what he believes in. I think the story circulating about Bibi and Israel offering the money and wanting Charlie to go to Israel, I think that's also true that they're doing that. Makes me uncomfortable. And in this story that we hear about, I think the person that won in this story is Charlie Kirk, to be honest with you. And he's not even here with us.
And for people that take it a step further and say Israel are behind the assassination. Now, for me, whenever people come up with theories, I'm like, all right, what is the incentive for such